Okay, so these are the learning outcome for today. We are going to learn the types and characteristics of hormone. Okay, there are several types of the hormone, and there are two mechanisms of the hormone action. One is for steroid hormone, one is for non-steroid hormone. Okay, so endocrine system. Okay, endocrine system is coordinated with the nervous system. Okay, they use the chemical signal here. So chemical signal here refer to our hormone. Okay, so we have several types of the endocrine system here. For example, the pituitary gland, which secretes several types of hormone, thyroid, pancreas, placenta, testes, ovary. Okay, these are the endocrine system which can secrete several types of the hormones, adrenal gland, okay, and so on. Okay, so the characteristics of the endocrine gland, they secrete chemicals known as the hormone. Okay, so endocrine gland is a type of a ductless gland. Okay, ductless gland means that they are not like the bloodstream. They have the blood vessel and so on. Endocrine system is without the duct ada saluran. Okay, so they will secrete the hormone directly. Okay, secrete the hormone directly into our bloodstream. So the diagram, you can refer to this. So the endocrine system, they secrete the hormone. So the hormone directly secreted into our bloodstream. So from the bloodstream, they will act directly on our target cell. Okay, so any cell with the receptor, they can respond to the hormone. Alright, any cell without the receptor, they cannot respond to the hormone. Okay, this is another diagram. Alright, so the definition of hormone, what means hormone? Is a type of chemical messenger. It sends a message in the form of chemical. Okay, secreted by the cell in one part of the body, transported in the bloodstream to other parts of the body, where it signals the cell. Signal the cell means it will order the cell to do something, to alter some aspect of growth, development, or metabolism. So there are several characteristics of the hormone. Hormones are small, soluble organic molecule. Usually they travel in our blood circulatory system. They fit into precise target molecule. Only the target cell can respond to the hormone. Specific for a particular target, effective in low concentration. So very low concentration, low amount of the hormone, it already can make a response. Okay, so there are several types of the hormone. So we divide them into peptide hormone, amine hormone, and the steroid hormone. Okay, so peptide is water soluble, have a primary amino acid structure. So it's a primary level, it's just a long polypeptide chain. Example, glucagon, ADH, oxytocin, insulin, and so on. Okay, so this is first type of hormone. Second type is known as amine hormone. It's an amino acid derivative, also made by protein. Have amino group at the end of the molecule. Most amine hormone also water soluble, okay, like the peptide hormone just now. Act at the plasma membrane receptor. Example, thyroid hormone, dopamine, epinephrine, norepinephrine. Okay, third one is steroid hormone. So steroid is made up by lipid. So they are lipid soluble. Okay, made by cholesterol. So secreted by the cells in adrenal gland and in primary reproductive organ. So most of the reproductive hormones are steroid hormone, like what you have learned in semester 1 before. We have progesterone, estrogen, testosterone. All these are steroid hormone. So the sexual hormone are steroid hormone. Okay. So different hormone, they have different action. So first one, we divide them into two types. Either they are steroid hormone or they are non-steroid hormone. Okay, meaning that either they are lipid soluble hormone or non-lipid soluble hormone. Okay, so this make a difference how they do their action. So for this steroid hormone, they are lipid soluble. So since they are lipid soluble, they can diffuse across the plasma membrane easily. Okay, because they are lipid soluble. But for this non-lipid soluble, non-steroid hormone, they cannot diffuse across the phospholipid bilayer. So they just stay outside the target cell. Okay, so they are having different types of action. Okay, so for the first one, gene activation. Okay, so this is our cell. Okay, our target cell. So hormone travel in where? Hormone travel by the bloodstream, right? Okay, so travel along the bloodstream and then it will come to our target cell. So since this hormone, they are steroid hormone, which is lipid soluble. So our target cell plasma membrane is made up by phospholipid bilayer. Okay, so both also lipid soluble, so they can easily pass through the plasma membrane. Okay, so this hormone pass through the plasma membrane, go into the target cell. Alright, so after it diffuse across the plasma membrane, they will find a type of receptor. In the cytoplasm. Okay, and bind to the receptor. Okay, so the hormone bind to the receptor, forming hormone receptor complex. Okay, clear so far? Okay, after the hormone receptor complex is formed, now this whole complex will enter the nucleus. Okay, enter the nucleus. So what can be found inside the nucleus? You have learned in semester 1. What can be found in the nucleus? Chromosome, DNA, right? Okay, so we have the chromosome, we have the gene here. So now this whole hormone receptor complex, they will bind to the chromosome. Okay, at the specific site on this chromosome or the DNA, and activate the gene. Alright, so they will activate the gene. So once this gene is activated, the gene, the DNA, will undergo a process called transcription. Remember? Transcription is the process where the DNA is transcribed into mRNA. Okay, so now mRNA is formed. Okay, is that clear? Alright, so mRNA in one strand. So where will this mRNA go? After transcription, followed by what? Translation. Where is the process of translation occur? Cytoplasm. So this mRNA will go to cytoplasm. Okay, what happened to this mRNA? Bind to what? Bind to the ribosome. To manufacture what? Protein, right? Okay, so this process translation will occur in the cytoplasm to form the polypeptide chain. Okay, so this protein is formed. So the hormone achieves its target. Okay, it will order the cell to manufacture the certain types of protein or the enzyme to do something. Okay, so this process is known as gene activation. Gene activation, because the steroid hormone can directly go into the cell. Okay, they go into the cell and activate the gene. So is that clear? Okay, it just involves several steps here. Transcription, translation, form protein. Okay, next one. What about non-steroid hormone? Non-steroid hormone, they cannot go into the cell. They cannot bind to the gene to form protein. Okay, so what will they do? So the same thing, we have a target cell. Okay. So now the hormone will travel through the bloodstream, come to the target cell. Okay. So now this is a non-steroid hormone. Non-steroid, it is not made by lipid. Okay, it is water soluble. So the characteristic of this hormone, they cannot diffuse into the cell. They just stay outside the cell. So if they stay outside the cell, how they order the cell to do something? Okay, so it involves a series of actions. So now this non-steroid hormone, when it comes to the target cell, it will find the receptor, same like just now. This one also find the receptor, but the receptor is inside the cell, right? Okay, this case, receptor is outside the cell. Okay, so now we have a receptor here. Okay, so this receptor can bind to the hormone. Okay, forming what? Okay, same like just now, hormone receptor complex. Okay, so once this hormone receptor complex is formed, now they can activate a type of protein here. Okay, this protein is known as G protein. Alright, so they will wake up. Okay, once the hormone receptor complex is formed, they will wake up the G protein. So once this G protein activated, they will bind to GTP. Okay, so this GTP can bind to the G protein. Is that clear? Alright, so once the G protein bind to the GTP, now this G protein will activate another enzyme, okay, which is located somewhere here. Okay, so this enzyme is known as adenylyl, okay, cyclase. Okay, this is a type of enzyme. It is located on the membrane. Okay. So this G protein activate the enzyme adenylyl cyclase. So once this enzyme is activated, it can convert A ATP into